Hello everyone, hope all are fine. Today we are going to pursue a poem, My Mother at 66, written by Kamala Das. If you're watching my video for the first time, please subscribe my channel I Choose English Grow and click on the bell icon. My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das. Kamala Das was born in Malabar, Kerala. She is recognized as one of India's foremost poets. Her works are known for their originality, versatility, and the indigenous flavor of the soil. Kamala Das has published many novels and short stories in English and Malayalam under the name Madhavi Kutti. Some of her works in English include the novel Alphabet of Lust in 1977, a collection of short stories Padmavati the Harlot and Other Stories in 1992, in addition to 5 books of poetry. She is a sensitive writer who captures the complex subtleties of human relationships in lyrical idiom. In My Mother at 66, Kamala Das comments on the feelings of pain and anguish one feels for the aging parents. There is a single thread of thought. There are some observations of the real world around, but they are connected with the main idea. The whole poem is in a single sentence, punctuated by commas. Theme: Fear of loss. The poem, composed in blank verse, expresses the anguish of a daughter over her mother's advancing age and the fear of permanent separation from her. My Mother at 66 symbolizes the fast-paced life and the inevitable death of our childhood, youth, and loved ones. The poet is agonized by her mother's advancing age and the fear of her imminent death. Nostalgia. The poet is carried away by her childhood premonition of losing her mother. Let's move on to the introduction now. The poem talks about the feeling of loneliness that aged people experience and the feeling of guilt which their offspring experience for not being able to be with their parents in their old age. Though aging is a natural process, yet the fear of separation from your loved and near ones is very painful. The poem also explores the feelings of melancholy and pain that a daughter experiences while leaving her mother all by herself at a ripe old age. The agony of separation is brought forward in this poem very explicitly. The poem, in a way, also sends a very strong message to the youth of today. Do not be so busy in fulfilling your desires and wishes that you forget to take care of your elderly parents when they need you the most. At times, situation can be binding, but one should never forget to show one's love, affection, and concern for one's parents. My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das. Let's go through the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the married children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, one pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. Summary. The poet was driving from her parents' home to the Cochin airport last Friday morning. Her mother was sitting beside her. She was 66 years old. The old lady was dozing. Her mouth remained open. Her face looked pale and faded. It was grey like ash. It looked lifeless like a corpse. The lifeless and faded face of a mother pained her heart. The old lady seemed to be lost in her own thoughts. The poet turned away her attention from her mother and looked outside. The world outside was full of life and activity. The young trees seemed running fast, and the children looked happy while moving out of their homes. When they were at the airport, they had to undergo a security check. The poet was standing a few yards away from her mother. She looked again at her old mother. She felt deeply sad to look at the colorless, lifeless, and pale face of her mother. Her face looked faded like the late winter's moon, which had lost its shine and strength. This aroused the old familiar ache in the poet's heart. Her childhood fear overpowered her again. However, she controlled herself and appeared to be normal. She scattered a smile on her face while saying goodbye to her mother and wished to see her old Amma again. Now let's perceive the poetic devices. Rhyme scheme. The poet does not use any rhythm or rhyme scheme in this poem. It is a blank verse. Simile. The poet uses the device of simile on two instances. When she compares her mother's face with that of a corpse, and also uses the word like while making that comparison. She again compares her mother with the moon in winter time and also uses the word as while making this comparison. Next, we move on to the personification. This rhetorical device is used to bestow human qualities on something that is not human. In this poem, the poet uses a device of personification with respect to trees. She imagines the trees to be figures that are running alongside her car. Next, we move on to metaphor. This rhetorical device is used when a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. In this poem, the poet uses the device of metaphor in line when she speaks. Trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes, to show the contrary image of her mother's age and approaching end. Repetition. This rhetorical device is used when a word or phrase is repeated. In this poem, the poet uses the device of repetition in last line. All I did was smile and smile and smile, when she had to subdue her feelings and tried not to show her emotion to her mother. She says she believes that she will meet her mother again. A mother's love for her child is like nothing else in the world. It knows no law, no pity. It dares all things and crushes down remorselessly all that stands in its path. Hope you all understood the poem My Mother at 66, and take care of your parents. Thank you.